Alright, so my first unboxing video. I just ordered this from Chain Reaction Cycles, and right off the bat I was sort of disappointed with the price, because usually Chain Reaction Cycles, their prices are amazing, but they've changed shipping companies. And so now for an oversized, this is a box that basically holds tires, and they call that oversized. And that's $25 of shipping, plus the customs charged $10 of handling fees, and $30 for a total of, and $40. It was $50 altogether of taxes and handling fees just to come through the customs. So that's an extra $50, $60, $75 on top of the order, which means that, I calculated it roughly just this morning, and it means that everything is a fair price rather than being a really good price, which is usually what you get from Chain Reaction Cycles. So that's too bad. I'm just going to have to be really careful in the future about what I buy from there to make sure that there's at least free shipping. So probably for smaller things, like just seats or tubes or things like that. So I'm going to go grab a knife. Oh, here it is. And start unboxing. So the main reason why I ordered this time is because I'm building a winter bike for my girlfriend. She's been biking for quite a few years, and she likes it a lot, and this year she was especially sad that the biking season was over. So we talked about it, and I said, hey, why don't I build you a winter bike? So I got started on that. And her bike, this is pretty fun. I'm going to put the same tires on hers as I've put on my winter commuter for a really long time, because they're just amazing. Got nothing but praise for them. So I've got two Schwalbe marathon tires. Here they are. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen these new. On my commuter I've had Schwalbe tires for like 7 years, I think. And the tungsten, you can see the tungsten spikes, they last an extremely long time. What I did with my bike is, so there's actually, you can't see it, there's two different tires here. This is just the winter, which means that there's less spikes. It's the same tire, but there's less spikes. There's only the spikes in the middle, none on the outside. Whereas this is going to be her rear tire. This one has spikes all the way along the outside as well. It's quite a big difference in price. But as I was saying, the spikes last forever. After 6 years, what it is, I took the spikes in the middle and I switched them to the outside, and I put the outside ones in the middle because they were starting to be a little bit round. Just 6 years of use, that's sort of normal. And they lost, I would say they lost maybe 30% of their effectiveness. They still worked. I could still easily stay up on my bike. I could still brake and leave scrapes in the ice. But they just weren't quite as sharp as before. And so, after 6 years, I switched the spikes, and I figured the new ones, the ones that were on the outside and practically never touched the road, those will probably last for another 6 years. So you're talking about tires that last easily 10 years. They're really worth it. So that's that. Quite often people think that the ones along the very outside are for when you corner, but if you're cornering enough for the outside spikes to touch, you're going to bail no matter what. That's not what they're for at all. What they're actually for is when you're on ice. Say you're on a bike path where it snowed and then the snow froze and now there's a lot of ruts. These will help you climb out of the ruts. If there's some ice on the side, the tire will push on the wall and help you climb out of the ruts. Aside from that, they don't really count for anything. And so it's actually a waste to put this tire on the front. You don't need these side lugs on a front tire because it's never spinning. It's never powering up anything. It's just rolling along. So these, the spikes on the top are the only ones that are going to touch. So that's that. Those are the last things that I really needed to put up for her to have a winter bike. But I ordered a few other things for fun. What did I order? A flow seat, that's actually for my mountain bike. It was $30, which is quite a good price. A whole bunch of different tubes because we have 4 different bikes. And I've got the Schwalbe tubes as well, just because they say that they have a special compound that releases air more slowly, which I like the sound of. Normally that's the kind of thing I wouldn't believe from a company, but I'm so happy with the quality of their other tires that I believe them for what they say about their tubes. So, a whole bunch of tubes. I also just sort of randomly bought these bike gloves because I thought, under a single track, I thought they looked good. And they weren't expensive, and I need bike gloves just for mountain biking in the summer. So hopefully the quality will be good with those. They'll last a long time. They look reasonable. Non-leather, of course, since I'm vegan. Yeah, these I like the look of. They're lock grips by Clark. Yeah, Clark's lock-on grips. And they're nice and wide, you know, to be able to push your hand down. And they lock on. I find lock grips should really come standard with most bikes. What my girlfriend has on her bike now is actually the worst. They're wide grips like this without a lock. And so, you know, every time she pushes down, they move a little bit. And you can really notice when you're biking that it's not in the right position to support your palms. And so if they're not going to be lock-on grips, make sure they're at least round so you don't notice so much if the grip is turning on you. But these look, for the price, these were $15, a little bit more because of all the shipping and everything. But they look like they're really good quality. I'm quite surprised. Yeah, I like the texture and the feel of those a lot. Very cool. And I guess that's pretty much it. Just an extra bottom bracket, which would have been the same price from Mech. I just figured I'll put the one in order in all at the same time, but you know, just a standard bottom bracket, sealed cartridge bottom bracket from Shimano. Because, you know, if a winter bike will go through these a lot faster, so I like to have a backup just in case. So that's that. All right. Over and out.